Well, if you were curious on how to tear down your drivetrain for a thorough cleaning, you're about to find out. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you're watching another great episode of Toolbox Topic. I'm joined once again with my co-host, Brandon Van Leuven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
I'm psyched.
You're psyched? Are you really, though? I didn't think so.
No, I love cleaning bikes before work.
Right. You know, I'm gonna have to take him out for a nice barbecue or steak dinner to tell you what. So once again, we're at Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix in Goodyear, Arizona, because it's where the cool kids hang out, and me. And this is actually going to be a 3-part video, so you're gonna see boom, 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 1, 2, 3 weeks.
This is the groundwork right here.
This is the groundwork. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna actually tear down the drivetrain, show you how to do that properly, the tools you're gonna need, and then the next video is going to be cleaning your drivetrain, because this is something that you're gonna wanna do. Yeah, don't follow my example because I rarely do it. Brandon's always, come on, Thomas. And then the third part is actually gonna be the installation of the SRAM Eagle XO transmission onto Esmeralda. Super excited that Esmeralda's getting that upgrade. So you'll kind of see. Now, if you're not doing a new group set, you could just reinstall, obviously, the parts after the clean. But yes, if you've watched any of the other videos, and I'll link the one up there as far as troubleshooting Esmeralda, you know, we kind of figured that rear derailleur getting a little old. All right, and
it's just a little beat up,
and everything, and with everything else, and I was already talking about upgrading the transmission, anyways. So we figured it was time, and so
it's nice just to start with a nice clean slate. If you're putting new parts on your bike, for me, if I'm going to put even tires on or new tape, I want the whole bike clean. That's just what I'm doing. So,
all right, so we're going to get started.
Put spectacles on.
Put the spectacles on.
All right,
and I guess we're going to get the second camera going. Once again. B-roll footage is provided by the iPhone, guys. I can't tell you enough how this is actually working out really good. And a big thank you to Carlo and Small Rig USA for providing the iPhone cage, guys. Seriously, there's going to be a link down below. All right, so Brandon, we need to count in for transition. And 3, 2. That wasn't much of a clap, dude.
It's not enough.
Man, come on, give me a clap. There we go. There we go, with vigor.
Okay. Let's start with removing the wheel and cassette off that guy. You have the through axle here, so I'm just going to undo the through axle. A lot of people don't know this. I think I put this in a short one time, how any SRAM, upper end SRAM Eagle stuff is going to have that lockout. It makes removing the wheel much easier and cleaning later on easier as well. So I've used that lock to undo the lock while we're here. We're not going to use it again after this. You just push it forward, it unlocks, and then you have all your tension back. So I'm going to use this to remove the wheel first. Undo the through axle. And you'll see just a little bit of gap there. And then we've removed the wheel. So come over here. I'll show you what we're using to remove the cassette. I have a cassette removal plier and then the cassette removal tool. Essentially, it's just this little part in here that's keyed. You can also use it with a adjustable wrench if you like, or this is kind of the park holder, I guess. So this is how I do it. You'll see people do it in a number of different ways. Obviously, we're going lefty-loosey on this. So I keep the pliers in the right hand and then squeeze them together. I've seen people squeeze them apart. It's all whatever you're more comfortable with. Caution. Sometimes these guys will break loose and you'll smack your knuckles together. So I'm going to be as easy as possible on this. See how it goes? And that wasn't too bad. No. So for the XD driver and cassette removal, you're just going to want to continue to undo the cassette because it is all one piece. Let's see how we're doing.
Now, just to let you know, guys, these parts, they're not getting thrown away. You know, they're time for me to change, but there is still some life depth in them. You know, we kind of already determined that. So I'm going to put all these aside, and they can go to a donor bike.
Yeah. So here you see we removed the SRAM GX rear cassette. It's all one piece, and that exposes the XD driver. While I'm in here, I'm just going to double check the bearings, see how they're feeling, if they're smooth. Make sure that the XD driver engages well. And then we're going to put that to the side, and then we're going to clean that later. It's nice that it's removed before we put the new XO cassette on. This will be all nice and clean back here and ready to go. It just makes you feel better inside. So I'll put that away for a moment. Let's go back to the bike. I guess the next thing we'll start with is removing the chain and derailleur. So to remove any of the higher end SRAM or Shimano chains, you'll need one of these guys. It is a plier that actually pinches the chain together, so it gives you some slack on the quick link. Check it out. First, I need to find my quick link. And if this was
It's not moving.
if we were not going to reuse this chain, I would just use a bolt cutter and cut this thing off instead of being so nice about it.
It's always the last
It's always the
link.
last one. So here we've identified the quick link here. In this case, it's a the SRAM Master Link. You can also use KMC approved quick links for this as well. This one we're going to toss because we're going to use a new one. SRAM recommends that you do not reuse their quick links, but the KMC, some of them, if they're addressed that way, you can reuse them. So remove that. I'm going to set this aside as well for cleaning later.
And just so you guys know too, with SRAM transmission, everything is new. You have to use a transmission chain, the whole new setup. So this chain, even though we're not getting rid of, because when we did the chain checker, we had still life left in it, it's not going to be used in the transmission system.
Let's remove the derailleur now. Now, sorry, follow me back and forth a little bit.
No.
So I'm going to start by unhooking the cable from this guy. And since cables will no longer be an issue in your life on this bike anymore,
Yeah. Goodbye, Mr. Cable.
we're just gonna
Goodbye.
we're just gonna get medieval on its ass.
Nice. Oh, so satisfying. Cable cutters.
So we can remove the derailleur with a 5mm hex. This is very easy to do.
Now, I'm also going to link a couple videos up top now, guys, for derailleur adjustment and for front and rear, even though on the mountain bike it's really not, you don't need one for the front, since we're talking about drivetrains.
We are also going to remove, which is fun, your SRAM universal derailleur hanger on here. What we're going to be ending up doing is just using, obviously, if you know what we're going to do in the moment, you'll see on the next segment or next two segments that we're introducing the T-type, which will just mount directly to the frame. So one odd thing about the UDH, it is reverse threaded. So we're going to go righty-loosey. Couple of things to note, depending on which bike you have. I think this one has a washer in between the stays, so we're going to want to be making extra careful that we do not lose that washer. So you rotate the UDH back, pull it out, and there it is. Nice. And so Trek does have a washer inside there, so what I'm going to do is kind of put this guy back together a little bit. Just to keep all of my parts together, and then I'm going to use a zip tie just to hold that. Just to hold all my parts together so I don't lose them. I'm going to move on now to the chain, or excuse me, to the chain ring and the crank set here. So, all honesty, I already busted this thing loose before I started the
Brandon had to step on that sucker
because it was on there really, really good. This is typical for SRAM crank arms to really be on there good. So the way I defeated it, I couldn't get it with my upper body, unfortunately. So a way to defeat that is, and now that the wheel's off, you can see this better. What I did was I got a strap, tightened the strap down, introduced that, and then I stepped on it. Actually, you want to flip it 180 to this, but that's one way. This gives you all the leverage, and you can use your full body weight by stepping on it. So that's how I was able to achieve loosening it up. It is loose now. Removing SRAM cranks is very easy because they use what's called an extractor bolt, which means I don't need to use any kind of alternative tool.
Or you don't necessarily need a puller.
Or a puller, correct. So the extractor bolt, make sure you're That's what I'm supposed to say. Make sure you're using the 8mm for the internal bolt and not torquing on the extractor bolt, because you'll strip that thing out.
Yeah.
So just by pushing on the bolt backside, it's going to push itself out. And be careful not to drop it, hopefully. It's getting looser. And we're going to expose our crank, our bottom bracket here in a moment by removing the crank. We're going to leave this bottom bracket in. It is a dub bottom bracket, so when we introduce the transmission, it should, I'm really hoping that transmission crankset just bolts right on there after it's nice and clean, and I won't have to mess with it too much.
Yeah, and again, we just did the bottom bracket replacement, and I'm going to link that video up top for you guys, so you can see the process on that. But yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah, so you can see this stuff is all out. It'll be all nice and clean to put into the stockpile in a moment. While I have this out as well, let's go ahead and just double check the bottom bracket. We still feel smooth. Did we just put a new one in there or what?
We did.
Okay.
Brand new.
All right, we feel good. This feels great. I have some seals in here, I believe. That could come out. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, because the spacers are already there, again, I'm going to use some zip tie. And just to keep things in order, just to keep things from getting lost, because it's going to be a few days until we do this again. That way I know the order that's going in. All right. Next step will be removing these cables out. I'm really hoping all I got to do is yank, but we're going to see here in a second how this plays out.
Right.
I'm going to first remove the shifter. I have my trusty...
And while Brandon's looking for his tool, guys, why don't you take a moment to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon. It doesn't cost you anything to do, and it helps out the channel and the video as well. We sincerely appreciate it.
For real, though. What did I do with that tool?
Dude, you just have it.
I know.
Oh, it's got to be on the bench someplace.
Yeah.
You didn't put it back, did you?
It goes right there.
Did you leave it in the shifter? Nope.
Nope. All right, I'll be back.
Is it in your pocket?
Let's use this one. It is in my pocket.
Hey!
That's how that goes. For
It happens.
love. So we'll remove the shifter here with this Torx. So this will be interesting how we're going to hook up your new electronic shifter here. There's a couple different ways we can use the existing one here, or just mount it up. We'll see about that here.
Right, they've got that shifting pod now.
Right.
Which I'm really anxious to use. It looks interesting.
I've cut that end. The shifter's going to come right out.
Oh, it's zip tied. Oh, you pulled the cable. The housing is still there.
Yep. The housing will still be there, so I'm going to start by removing all this stuff.
Nice.
I'm going to cut this as well, toss the cable since we're not using it anymore. And put this over here for cleaning with all the other parts. Toss this. All right, so you've got a few cables here holding down that, so it's going to cause some friction. I also have on this one, it looks like the bash guard for the bottom of the chainstay is also holding that in, which I didn't realize. So let's see how this goes. Again, the bike we're working with here is a Trek Fuel EX 9.8.
Yep.
So if you're using any carbon, if you're going to be messing with any carbon fuels, this is the steps, the process you're going to have to go through as well. And it looks like I have a 3mm hex back there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can...
Nope, less.
Less, yeah, that's a tiny little bugger. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and...
Let's try 2.5.
Kind of point out, you can kind of...
2.5.
See what Brandon's unthreading from the back.
And it's kind of a nice, clean, integrated... Whew, still got it. Now, these little guys, I'm going to put in my magnetized jar here so I don't lose them. So how many do we have? We have one. We have one down here.
You got the one right there.
Just 1, 2. I wonder if I can just... That'll be enough just to gain enough...
Get it out of there?
track, yeah. One more zip tie to go down here.
So for any former mini truckers out there, duct tape and popsicle sticks was the motto. Here in the bike shop, it's zip ties.
what do I got back there? So this is going internal from just under your main pivot bolt. All right. Oh, it feels pretty loose.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh, we get lucky.
Sounds loose so far, so we'll see. I'm just gonna give her a proper wanking now.
Did you say proper wanking? And remember, we're sponsored by Disney. No, we're not sponsored by Disney, guys. That's a lie.
Comes right out. That was nice and simple. So you have the option of replacing the little grommet on this side to remove that thing, but it's pretty minor. If you wanted to put a new one in there, you can order them, and then that way you only have one hole exposed. Right now there's just one going through. Looks like your brake line, and then there's another hole there, but you can customize that if you want. Man, all right. So that was easier than I thought. That went well.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Knock on wood, don't jinx it.
Now we can go outside and clean this guy up. Maybe
Okay.
we want to cut for a second, and I'll set that up.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make it work. All right, guys. So we're outside now, and we're going to start the cleaning process. So this is technically part 2 of the video.
Freezing
but
outside.
You know, it might stay as just a long video.
So I have the brushes that I use. I mentioned this kit before. You can see how much we use it around the shop.
Yep.
They are very effective brushes. Before we get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and start by putting the clean streak on, hitting these with on your parts. I'm going to use an excessive amount. The cranks aren't so bad, but just to loosen up all the crap on the rings. So while I'm doing other stuff, I can let this sit for a moment. Yeah, check it out. We're going to get all this crap off your pulley wheels and stuff. So this will just loosen it up. And then we're going to have to use some elbow grease here in a little while to really get that off. I'm going to hit the chain. All the stuff that's kind of soaking, kind of falling down to the bottom, I'm going to use a little bit later on too. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that, and I can swirl it around. And it's going to dilute it a little bit, but we're not going to hopefully waste a ton of this stuff. It's probably not the best for the world either.
It's all right, Brandon. It was right before we got here.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let that just chill, and then we're gonna get to the bike. So it's very important. We are going to use water on here. What do I always say? I never put water on my bike, but this bike is so damn gross that we're going to put water on it. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to aim at, especially now that we have exposed bearings, we're going to stay away from the bearings, but we're just going to give it a nice light shower on there. I am going to use some Simple Green on there. I'm going to stay away as much as I can from the your brakes and your rotor in the front. However, we have not had any issues yet using Simple Green and having overspray onto brakes and contaminating them. But nevertheless, I'm still going to stay away. I think the main thing to take away from this is we are just going to stay away from a heavy jet around the bearings and the pivot bolts. Because what can happen is that heavy water can actually push in contaminants, push out grease, and it's going to wreck your bearings.
Right. Oh, I don't know about you, Brandon, but my nays are cold.
They were cold when I got here. All right, we're gonna leave this one on there for a moment because that one's kind of tough to do. So let me just check my pressure here. Oh, it's a nice spray. Look at that.
Yeah.
Shower spray.
So like Irish Spring.
Kinda. So a little bit of water on there. I'm also going to hit this little bit of water while I'm at it. And then here comes, we do dilute this, probably like 2 or 3 parts to 1 on the Simple Green on there, but just a little light spray. Oops. What did I just say about your rotors? So a little light spray, I'm going to let that sit just for a second here, and then I can use my soft bristle brush to kind of get the big stuff off the frame. I'm going to say we just cleaned this bike, it feels like.
Now, if this, yeah, and I'm going to link that video up top, guys. It was very, very good video. And as you can see, I paid no attention to that video and did not heed Brandon's advice. So, this kind of reminds me of dodgeball in the car wash.
I should actually knot up my shirt for this, but, you know.
Right. That's how we're going to get the views. Brandon and his Daisy Dukes.
Little, recreate some good 70s movie. That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah. This already looks really nice.
Whew, man. So while Brandon's doing that, I'll be honest with you guys, this morning on the way to the bike shop, I got all the camera gear loaded in the truck. Here's a little quip. Or would it be a soliloquy? I don't know. You guys can let me know down below which one you think. Anyways, so I'm thinking, man, I got plenty of time. I'm going to get a cup of coffee from Circle K, top off my tank, and then I realize I forgot my bike. Yes, my friends, I remembered all the camera gear, and because of lack of sleep last night, I'm on autopilot, and then realized can't do a bike video without a bike.
That's all right. I was sitting in traffic anyways. So.
All right, she's clean. I'm selling her.
She's looking pretty again.
You know, I said this the last time too, Brandon. It almost makes me want to clean her more often.
That's a false promise.
You realize how good she looks.
And it is nice now that the cassette's off. I can get behind that with a little simple green too. Again, just a little bit on there.
Now, I'm telling you what, guys, here in the next couple, 2-3 months, Chris King's.
Oh, all right.
Coming your way.
Fully endorsed.
Yep. Now, Brandon, and I'm going to take his advice. So some things I do listen to him on, guys.
Thanks.
Don't think I just do my own thing.
I appreciate that.
He suggested, instead of just getting hubs, to just go ahead and get the full wheel set.
These wheels are not in terrible condition. You're correct. But, you know, if you're going to get new hubs, I don't know.
If you're going to get new hubs, just get new wheels.
Just get new wheels.
How'd you get the bean over the frame?
Again, it's like cleaning your bike before putting new parts on it. Just, why would you put an old hub, or a new hub on an old wheel, especially a beautiful Chris King? That's all. That's all I've got to say about that.
But these Covies are in good shape, though.
They are.
And it's a testament to the quality of the rim.
Yeah, just keep these wheels intact. Again, have these for a spare.
Yeah. Yeah, those Covey carbons have just, they've taken everything I've thrown at them. So good.
All right. So I feel pretty good about this. We're going to hit this with some air in a second. It's going to be loud. But these guys right here are going to take a little elbow grease. I'm going to use my stiff bristle brush. Get after that.
Now, you guys might be wondering, hey, Thomas, you're not putting these parts back on Esmeralda. What the hell are you cleaning them for? Well, we wanted to show you guys
how much it sucks,
how you do this, and all the steps to properly do it. You know, just sitting there and saying, hey, we took it apart and throw it all in the box, and voila, there's the new group set on there. It's no fun. So...
yeah, it's looking nice, and we'll get some more with the that rag later on.
Yep. Jesus, I never realized that cassette was so shiny. I think I said that the last time we were doing this, dude. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Is that really?
I mean, and this kind of exposes how much wear there actually is on the cassette, because you can see where that paint is worn off.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you guys know I ride the heck out of this thing too, and it's a 2021 model that was bought in 2020, fall of 2020. So here we're coming up on the spring of 2024, So what, 3.5 years, and this thing's been used
and abused.
Yeah, a little bit.
These things are gross.
I ride it like I stole it, my friends. Yeah, those pulleys are rough. There ain't no doubt about
What I
it.
may do, it's just gonna take a little time. This is a good time to fast forward, probably. So I'll get this a little bit more with the with the rag inside. But when it comes to the chain, all that excess clean stick that we had in there, a little bit of water, this really loosens up all the crap inside.
Oh yeah.
The in between those hard to reach places on the cassette on the chain. So I'm gonna leave that, give this a little bit of water, and then we'll take it inside.
Cool.
My hands haven't been this cold since I lived in North Dakota.
Wow, that's saying something.
It's not that bad.
I know all my friends and all our fans on the East Coast are probably going, really, guys? It ain't that cold. And I would tell you guys to shut your face. It's cold for Arizona.
Again, from a distance, we're going to use the air hose just to get the big stuff off. We're going to go inside and we're going to wipe it off. But just to get these big puddles off, staying away from trying to stay away, keeping a distance.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, that's enough of that racket. Let's go inside. Cuddle.
Did you say cuddle? That's awesome. Oh, yes. The light went off. That's how long. And of course, trying to get it to come back on. Brandon.
All right, there she is.
Your sensors are bad.
Come on, you can do it.
There we go. Let there be light.
All right, here's all this stuff.
Okay.
Now I'm just gonna put this to the side for a while. I'm gonna have to hit that stuff with a rag, but let's get that frame cleaned up. We talked a little bit about certain polishes that I like to use. In the shop here, we use 3 of them. We use SC1, we use Bike Lust by Pedro's, which we love a lot, and also Bontrager makes a Bontrager Shine, which is also pretty good. Right now we have SC1 open, so that's what we're going to use today. And this will be, dang, this will feel good to put new parts on this thing then.
Yeah.
All right, here's the good stuff. Keep this away from your pads and rotors and stuff. What I like to do is just use a lot of it on your top tube and down tube, and then whatever's left over that you're going to wipe off, that can go onto the rest of the frame. So I'm using a lot up here. It's going to wipe off onto my towel here. And I can just distribute that over the rest of the bike. But it has that nice kind of that wet look to it, which is really nice. It's a little slippery first. They also claim that this stuff will help clean in the future as well, because the
like a wax coating or something?
like, yeah.
Okay.
It won't.
It smells good.
It smells delicious.
It smells fruity.
I know.
Like Fruity Pebbles.
Cool. And I don't know if we want to go through all the cleaning the components as well. That's just going to be a wiping down of that as well.
Yeah.
But man, she's looking good. She feels good. She smells good. We are going to be ready to install that transmission here just shortly.
Okay, cool. Brandon, give us a clap, and we're going to transition back to the main camera here. All right, everybody. So I know we said we were going to do it in 2 parts, but it's actually just been 1 part, and I apologize for the length of that, but it just didn't. Trying to break that up, it just didn't seem correct, I guess. So you can see here that the frame is still stripped down. It is clean though.
She is primed.
Yep.
She's primed for some new parts now.
Yep. So the next video you see is going to be us doing the install of the SRAM transmission. Now, full disclosure,
I've never done this before.
Brandon's never done it before. I've never done the transmission before. It should be similar to the GX Access though that we did, and I'm going to link that video up top. We're hoping. The one thing we are going to do though is we're going to turn on the rear derailleur. I'm going to download the app when we're finished here, and we're going to update any firmware, just so that way that can be done, because we did run into that as a problem when we were doing it on the GX. So, but yeah, here it is. Brandon, is there anything else you want to add? Or, I mean, you can, we got the rest of the parts here.
We'll
just
wipe that stuff off later on, and then while it's all apart too, I'm just going to double check all your pivot bolts. We're going to go around that today.
Yeah.
When we're all done here. But otherwise, no, she's looking good. Again, she's primed to have new parts put on now.
Good.
We feel good about that.
Oh yeah, and absolutely, good deal. So, and as you can see, with the right tools, okay, it was easy, thankfully enough, to remove what we needed to. And then, of course, as you saw outside, it was actually fairly easy to wash it as well. Now, I think the last video we did, though, we didn't take everything off, and we just washed all the parts on the bike, which you can do as well. If you have the proper brushes and everything, you can really get in there good. So
it feels good to have that stuff removed and like really get behind the crankset and things like that, and
absolutely
do a thorough job.
And maybe doing that like maybe semi-annually, beginning of the season, end of the season type thing, tear it down and get it really cleaned up and everything. And it will actually add longevity to your drivetrain, keeping these parts clean.
Absolutely.
We've talked about before. And when we're talking about a group set that is upwards of around, anywhere from $1,300 to $2,000, depending on the group, yeah, you're going to want to get as much out of it as you possibly can. So it's a really good thing. Anything else before we go?
No.
All right, my friends, like, subscribe, bell notification icon. It helps out the channel. It helps out the video, and we appreciate that support. There's going to be some links down below. Trek Bicycle Stores of West Phoenix is the most important link. If you have any questions about today's video or any other video for that matter, you can always comment down below, or you can follow that link. Call the shop, and Brandon or one of his amazing staff is going to be able to help you. And these guys and gals here seriously are top-notch guys. 13 years the shop's been.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lucky
Forgot
13.
to mention that. Yep, forgot to mention that the last video, but 13 years. And they wouldn't have been around for so long if they weren't so awesome. So kind of keep that in mind. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the devil's work. It's our social media down below. Follow us there. Show us some love. Get the word out about Get Out Arizona. Group hikes, group rides. It's a whole lot of fun, my friends. I guarantee you. And then we have some affiliate links. If you make a qualifying purchase, we receive a small commission. You don't have to pay anything extra, and it helps out with gas money, coffee money, and park pass money, which I just renewed my pass yesterday for the regional parks. So it's the other trifecta we enjoy so much around here. So on that note, my friends, what do we say? Be kind to yourself and others. Be amazing stewards on that trail. And we have to ask, what are you waiting for?
Get out Arizona.
Yep. We'll see you on that next adventure, my friends. Take care. Brandon, we'll see you next week.